Picture the two of you sitting side by side, a Mai Tai in your hands, and the sounds of Hawaii around you. You almost forget you're on a plane. And that's the point, because when you fly with Hawaiian Airlines, it's hard to tell where your flight ends and vacation begins. Hawaii starts here.
On Tide 100.9 and 12:30 AM WTBC, and on the Tide 100.9 app. Weekdays from 9 to 11. Live from the heart of SEC country, this is your daily fix of grit, guts, and gridiron glory. Welcome to the Deep South College Football Show.
Owens, here it goes! Georgia retakes the lead!
Breaking down the biggest matchups, the boldest takes, and the deepest rivalries in college football on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 AM WTBC.
Intercepted! They confused him! Xavier Brown headed the other way! Touchdown Tide!
From Fayetteville to Gainesville, from the Grove to Toomer's Corner, it's SEC football.
Chambers delivers! Touchdown!
Now, here's your award-winning host, Wyatt Fulton.
Welcome into the Deep South College Football Show here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 AM WTBC, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. If you happen to be catching us on the radio today, we do appreciate it. No YouTube stream today as I don't have a producer, so I'm currently sitting in the production room hosting this show myself. So rather than trying to juggle, computer, live stream, getting everything on the air situated correctly, we just figured, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're just going to run a regular radio show today. So just hanging out with you guys here on the radio side of things here on Tide 100.9. It doesn't mean I'm flying solo, though. We got our buddy Ryan Bond hanging out with us here today. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back in the studio. Been busy with work, but I'm happy to be here again.
Going to be a fun show for you guys today here. We also got Norris hanging out with us, who you heard from yesterday. Norris, how you doing, man?
Good. How everybody else doing?
Hope everybody's doing well out there. Free for all Friday here on the Deep South College Football Show. So figured we'd have a little bit of fun here today. This is courtesy of my good buddy Cruz Oxenrider, who you've heard on the program before, and his new page, Back Then Football. We're keeping 3 and cutting 9 in terms of college football quarterbacks today. So I'll give you the rundown, give you the list. We are strictly talking college careers here. Going to go ahead and put that out there. So what they did during their time in college football. We're keeping 3 and cutting 9 of these quarterbacks here. Our quarterbacks that we're talking about today: Baker Mayfield, Tommy Frazier, Jameis Winston, Joe Burrow, Vince Young, Deshaun Watson, Peyton Manning, Michael Vick, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, and Bryce Young from a quarterback's perspective. Now, we could do this to where, hey, you're not allowed to take the same quarterback as somebody else, but we're not going to do that today because I have a feeling, some of these guys were so dominant. I mean, some of these guys, yes, were prior to my time of really getting involved in watching college football, like Vince Young. I was 4 years old at the time, so I don't really remember a ton of the Vince Young era at Texas. Peyton Manning was before I was even born in college football. Same thing with Tommy Frazier here as well, but I did watch a lot of these guys, and I've seen, highlights and videos and things like that of some of these guys. So to keep it kind of simple here, we're going to be allowed to take the same guys if we want them here when you look at keeping and cutting these college football quarterbacks. And I got a feeling that there's going to be a very heavy SEC presence here when you look at some big-time players, right? Peyton Manning, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, Bryce Young, Tim Tebow, Joe Burrow, all dominated the SEC slate there. Texas and Oklahoma are now in the SEC, but at the time, Vince Young, Baker Mayfield, at the time of them being college football quarterbacks, they were in the Big 12 at Oklahoma and Texas. Tommy Frazier, as well as Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson and Michael Vick being non-SEC quarterbacks on this list here. No affiliation to the Southeastern Conference, whether that be at the time of them playing or currently here. So, Ryan, I'll start with you. Give me one of your quarterbacks that you're going to be keeping here.
I'm going to keep Tim Tebow.
Why?
I just, over the course, how many times he won the SEC? 2 times in 4 years at Florida? I don't know if they won.
2006 and 2008. They both won the SEC and won the national championship in those years. And Tebow was on both those teams.
His first year, his freshman year in 2006, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. not great, only 358 yards. Oh, by the way, in his sophomore season, he had 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 3,286 yards.
But you got to remember, too, for Tebow, he was the backup to Chris Leak. So Florida ran a very strange, but it ended up working out, dual quarterback system there. So even though the passing numbers aren't what you wanted from Tebow as a freshman, you look at his rushing numbers there, 469 and 8 on the ground for Tebow as a freshman. Again, Chris Leak was the passer, whereas Tim Tebow was the rusher of that two quarterback system.
Yeah, and almost, from what it looks like, almost 56 or 55 total touchdowns in his sophomore year on the ground and through the air. I mean, I know it's a shame he didn't perform well in the NFL, but, I mean, we're going just off of college. I don't think you can have somebody more consistent and high-powered and elite like Tim Tebow.
Again, this is courtesy of Back Then Sports. The picture that he's using here, the picture that Cruz is using for Tim Tebow is the picture of him in Tallahassee where he's, bring it on. He's got the Florida State garnet all over that right shoulder there after he just trucked somebody into the end zone. After he just trucked somebody. So, I mean, it looks like a literal gladiator on the field there when you look at Tim Tebow's picture here. Again, courtesy of my buddy Cruz Oxenrider and Back Then Sports. So you're rolling with Tebow as one of your 3. Now, keep in mind, you're rostering 3 of these. The rest of them are cut. They're gone. You can't touch them whatsoever. So none of this, I'll add them to like the practice squad. No, you're keeping these 3 for college football. Norris, Ryan's going with Tim Tebow here first. Who do you have as your first quarterback?
I go Johnny Football himself.
Why Johnny Manziel?
Ooh, there's a lot. Well, first, let's just start with that's the first freshman ever to win Heisman 1. Secondly, that shocked me when they upset against Bama that one year. Of course, that shocked me. It's a shame. It's a shame that he couldn't produce like this in pros. But again, we sticking with college. But I think that compared to all these quarterbacks, Johnny Manziel definitely this is somebody you want to keep. And just look out what he did up in college. This is a dominant quarterback in college, actually.
Yeah, Johnny was one of my favorite players to watch. Again, at the time I was an Alabama fan, so I hated his guts. But now that we've kind of, expanded beyond Alabama and we're now fans of the sport of college football as a whole here, Johnny was so electric to watch. I mean, he constantly was making plays of, how the hell did he just do that? What the hell is going on? What is he doing? Wait, Johnny Manziel is facing the wrong way in the pocket, spins around, gets outside of the pocket, and tosses the touchdown. So, Manziel, not a bad pick. My first quarterback is going to be... I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It's Cam Newton. Can you name me anybody off that 2010 Auburn team outside of Cam Newton?
I want to say it was Cameron Artis-Payne. I feel like that's around his time.
He was 2013/14, so I don't know. He may have been on the roster.
It might have been either the year before or his freshman year that he was there.
But he didn't contribute as a freshman.
Not the way that Cam Newton did.
No. And really and truly, the only other person I can name off that roster, unfortunately, is Philip Lutzenkirchen. Not that Lutzenkirchen was a bad guy, but unfortunately, he had a very unfortunate situation that took his life. And so, obviously, that's less than ideal. But from a player perspective, nobody dominated the way Cam Newton did. Cam Newton carried a bad Auburn football team to a national championship.
Yeah, again,
the comeback with his Heisman moment was the comeback in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, we called him Super Cam in the league for a reason. He was just an absolute monster. He could do everything you wanted a quarterback to do if only he had decided to jump on that fumble in Super Bowl 50.
Yeah, Auburn hasn't been the same since Cam Newton left either.
No, yeah, Auburn's not been the same team since Cam Newton left. They've been searching that high, and, I mean, when you watch college football, right, when you watch the Auburn Tigers, ever since Cam Newton, every black quarterback that has come through Auburn has been compared to Cam Newton. Nick Marshall, Jeremy Johnson, Byron Brown. I mean, they've all said, hey, this guy reminds me of Cam Newton. That's what Gus Malzahn said it about KJ Jefferson at UCF a couple of years ago. He's like, hey, man, I was on that 2010 coaching staff with Cam Newton, so I know what that's going to look like there. This guy's the next Cam Newton. Talking about Arkansas transfer KJ Jefferson at the time. Obviously, we know that wasn't the case. Jefferson was not successful at UCF, and I have no idea where he's at now. But the fact that every quarterback with that archetype is being compared to Cam Newton tells you how good Cam Newton was and what everybody's searching for. He was the unicorn when you look at the Auburn Tigers there. So, Ryan, you're sticking with Tim Tebow first. Norris, you've got Johnny Manziel. I've got Cam Newton. That's a pretty damn good three in general. But who else are we going to take? We'll talk about it on the other side as we are off and rolling here on a Free-for-All Friday edition of the Deep South College Football Show here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM.
That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Beautiful weather here through the weekend, and temperatures climbing through the 80s, flirting with 90 as we move into the work week next week. 83 here this afternoon, sunshine, 59 tonight. Sunny skies tomorrow, high tomorrow 85 and 87 on Sunday with sunshine. Monday, sunny skies, highs near 90, and the same holds true for Tuesday. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 75 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
For more from Tide 100.9,
Lets it fly, and there's it. Whoa!
follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and SoundCloud.
Welcome back into the Deep South College Football Show right here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports here. Hey, we are the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports, so we got to give you an Alabama softball update here as they're taking on South Carolina Upstate here in the first round of the Tuscaloosa Regional here just down the road at Rhodes Stadium. So if you want to listen to the game, head on over to Catfish 100.1, our sister station there. You may not have much game left to listen to as Alabama is currently up 8-0 on SC Upstate at the top of the fifth inning. Remember, in softball, the run rule is if you lead by 8 or more through 5 innings, game's over. They'll run rule them. And so South Carolina Upstate here, as they just got out, their first out of the inning here, they've got 2 more outs to at least score one run to avoid a run rule. So if Alabama softball wins this matchup, they will take on the winner of Belmont and Southeast Louisiana coming up tomorrow afternoon at, I believe, 2 or 2:30. If South Carolina Upstate somehow makes an 8-0 comeback here, Alabama falls to them. Alabama will play in the losers bracket immediately following the first game tomorrow. So, but Alabama up 8-0. It's an 0-2 count here for Amy Johnson, who hit a sack bunt in her previous plate appearance. So we'll keep an eye on Alabama softball as they may be heading on to the winners bracket here in the Tuscaloosa Regional for the NCAA softball tournament. Ryan, you took Tim Tebow the last go-round. Who is your next quarterback in your Keep 3, Cut 9 here, courtesy of Back Then Sports?
Going to stay here in the SEC. We're going to stay here in what used to be the SEC West while he was here. We're going to stay here in the great state of Alabama. You can't not make this list and not have Bryce Young on it. I mean, he was nothing shy of electric, and getting to watch him play football. I mean, my first day in Tuscaloosa, the day that I moved down here, was the Alabama Southern Miss football game in 2021, and it was Jamison Williams returning that opening kickoff, and that was just like, I could ride off into the sunset. Didn't even have to worry about the fact that Bryce Young threw an ungodly amount of passing yards and touchdowns to everybody scored that game, it felt like. He won the Heisman in his sophomore year. 4,872 passing yards, 47 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, and then backed it up the next year with 3,300 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Less touchdowns, but he had less picks in his junior year. What do you think would have happened if he came back for that senior year?
Undefeated, never lost, to quote LeVar Ball.
Yeah, no, you can't. Bryce Young on this team, I mean, you went from Tua and Jalen Hurts to Mac Jones to Bryce Young. I mean, that's just
insane.
That's scary.
You got better every new quarterback you had. And by the way, the first 2 were Heisman finalists.
Yeah, you finally get your Heisman winner with a Heisman winning quarterback in Bryce Young. I believe he was Saban's first quarterback taken number 1 overall in the NFL draft, too. So far, my list, I got Tim Tebow.
At Alabama, yes. I believe Jamarcus Russell.
That was 07 that he got drafted. So was Saban.
Was it 07?
He was the first pick in the 07 draft, so it would have been the 06-07 CFB
okay, then that was Les Miles. Excuse me.
Yeah, because Saban was in Miami.
Yeah,
so.
Nick Saban was at Miami at that point. So you got Tim Tebow sticking in the SEC, taking Bryce Young. Norris, who's your next pick?
Baker Mayfield, easily. I ain't talking about Texas Tech Baker Mayfield. I'm talking about Oklahoma Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma I still feel like he's an underrated quarterback still to this day. A quarterback that we don't talk about enough, that deserves his flowers. He going to get there eventually, but we going to talk about him today. At Oklahoma, he got like 12,000 yards, 119 touchdowns, only 21 interceptions, with a completion rate of 69.8. Excuse me, I can't talk. Baker Mayfield deserves to be on one of my picks, and that's all I got to say for us.
Y'all remember that Oklahoma-Texas Tech game where it was just a straight shootout between Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield?
Dog, they set records that night. This was also like a 9 p.m. kickoff, by the way. Like, this was a late game that Oklahoma and Texas Tech were just shot for shot, shootout type of ball game there.
I'm really happy Baker's gotten his chance in the NFL, because I remember when he went to Cleveland, it was a little upsetting if you were a Baker Mayfield fan, because you're like, well, Cleveland's where quarterbacks go to die, so why is he going here? You know, and then he goes to Carolina, and it's like, he's on his way out. And then in the span of a week, gets traded to the Rams, has to learn the playbook, and then leads the Rams on a 30-second game-winning drive on Thursday Night Football. And now he's thriving in Tampa Bay. So, I mean, not a bad one to have on your list.
A little bit of an Alabama softball update here. Alabama wins 8-0 over SC Upstate. 8 runs on 10 hits, no errors for the Crimson Tide, shutting out South Carolina Upstate. No runs on 4 hits and 1 error there for SC Upstate. And Alabama will be playing tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time. So I do apologize. Alabama will be playing at 1 o'clock Central Time tomorrow in the winner's bracket here. If they can win that, then their next game will come on Sunday for a chance to win the Tuscaloosa Regional there. By the way, Pete Nako's just reporting College Game Day now has announced their first 3 locations of the season. Week 1, they are heading to Clemson, LSU. Week 2, Ohio State at Texas. Week 3, the ever so obvious answer, LSU at Ole Miss for College Game Day here when you look at the 2026 college football season. You got to get Secret Service at this point, because that game's going to be nasty.
Was it the Oxford Police Department that actually came out and said they can't wait for that game to happen?
They did. They posted a GIF of, yay, when it was announced that it was a night game. So, going to be a lot of fun down there. I won't be there because I don't feel like going through 900 levels of security, but we'll see what happens here. Jared in Houston joining us on the app here. If you want to, you can leave us an app message and we'll read it. He's taking Jaden Daniels at LSU, another very electric Heisman Trophy winning quarterback there.
Did he remember Kid U?
Do what?
Did he remember Kid U?
He transferred in from Arizona State and then played at LSU for a little bit, and then.
I mean, when he got to the league.
Oh, he's drafted by Washington, number 2 overall.
Okay, I'm not.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders. How did LSU not see success in 2023 under Jaden Daniels? I mean, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, first round wide receiver, another very, very talented wide receiver who was unfortunately a part of a legal incident that forced him to take his own life, or that he felt the need to take his own life over in Kyron Lacey there. But even still, just so prolific on offense, historically good offense, maybe not to the level of 2019 LSU, 2020 Alabama, but still really damn good. The defense was just Swiss cheese.
I think was that the year that Harold Perkins went into the year thinking he was going to be like a top 5 linebacker in college and ended up getting injured. Defense just kind of started falling through and stuff like that. And then Jalen Milroe went into Baton Rouge and did. Was that the year after?
That was remember, Jalen Milroe had 4 touchdowns in Tuscaloosa, and then in 24 went to Baton Rouge and had another 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like ever since that 2019 team, LSU's, I mean, you're always going to struggle to live up to, if that's your comparison, you're never going to meet it.
No, you'll never meet you'll never equal what you did in 2019 if you're LSU.
Have you given your third or your second quarterback yet?
I have not. My second quarterback here is who you took with your first pick here. It is Tim Tebow. Tebow, over the course of his collegiate career, 9,285 passing yards, 88 passing touchdowns to just 16 interceptions. But wait, there's more with Tim Tebow. 2,947 rushing yards, had 895 as a sophomore when he won the Heisman Trophy, 57 rushing touchdowns compared to 88 passing touchdowns. I mean, won the Heisman as a sophomore, won the Maxwell, wasn't named an All-American. In 2008, was third in the Heisman voting and won the Maxwell Award again, and then was fifth in the Heisman Trophy voting as a junior here. Listen to the awards and accolades from Tim Tebow's career. You ready for this? 2007 AP Player of the Year, 2007 Consensus All-American, 2007 Davey O'Brien Award winner, 2007 Heisman Trophy winner, 2007 Maxwell Award, 2008 Manning Award, 2008 Maxwell Award, and 2008 SEC Offensive Player of the Year. And oh, by the way, the only reason he didn't do it in 2009 was more than likely because of the fact of Mark Ingram existed and they lost to Alabama in the SEC championship. If they go out and win that SEC championship, because keep in mind, most of these ballots are due the Sunday after conference championships. If Tim Tebow goes out and beats Alabama in 2009, he is more than likely a 3-time Maxwell Award winner, another Davey O'Brien winner. And again, if they beat Alabama and are undefeated that year, because really and truly, you look at Tebow's stats, and he had the most rushing yards of his career in 2009 with 910. He had 14 rushing touchdowns, second most in a single season in his career, 21 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, if they go beat Alabama, Tim Tebow's absolutely probably a probable 2-time Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, well, I mean, have we ever had somebody win the Heisman 2
Archie
times?
Griffin has won it twice.
What year was that?
I don't know.
Understandable. That's my answer.
That's well before I was alive. So even still, though, Tim Tebow was a phenomenal college quarterback. So I'm taking Cam Newton and Tim Tebow, 2 quarterbacks who play very similar styles of ball. We'll hit this break here, and on the other side, we'll give our third quarterback here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Monday morning at 9 a.m., we're going to recap a busy sports weekend. Of course, Alabama softball and baseball will be on the docket. Plus, Rodney Orr from KiterInsider.com and Casey Smith on golf as we look back at the PGA Championship, golf's first major of the season. Plus, your phone calls. That's Monday morning at 9 a.m.
When you fly with Hawaiian Airlines, it's hard to tell where your flight ends and vacation begins. Relax with free Starlink, the fastest Wi-Fi in the sky, thanks to T-Mobile. Go ahead, stream your movie, book the couple's massage, make a dinner reservation while we bring you to our island home. Hawaii starts here.
9,000. That's 900,000 for a free consultation. No fees unless we win. No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than that of other lawyers.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
A proposal to close the Gateway Discovery Center in Alberta is off the table after feedback from citizens proved the asset is more beloved than its usage metrics may imply. And the DCH Health System has committed to a complete review of security protocols at all 3 of their hospitals after a nurse was killed during a robbery in a hospital parking lot Tuesday. A community prayer service to remember the victim is planned for tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Tuscaloosa's Snow Hinton Park. For the details on these stories and more free coverage of local news, get connected at TuscaloosaThread.com.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
Let the dogs out. Let the the name calling.
We're choosing quarterbacks here on the Deep South College Football Show. Keep 3, cut 9. If you're just joining the program here are the here are the quarterbacks that we are debating here. This is Baker Mayfield, Tommy Frazier, Jameis Winston, Joe Burrow, Vince Young, Deshaun Watson, Peyton Manning, Michael Vick, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, and Bryce Young here on the Deep South College Football Show today. Ryan, your first 2 quarterbacks were Tim Tebow, and who was the other one? Vince Young? Bryce Young. I had the right Young, or I had Young. I just couldn't remember which one you took. Who is your third quarterback here?
The man himself, Mr. Michael Vick, who I got the great joy of watching him play football in the NFL growing up. I mean, you played...
Not for very long, apparently.
Hey, he was good on the Eagles. That's what I got to watch. We won't talk about Atlanta. 2 seasons at Virginia Tech in 99 and 2000. He redshirted in 98. Stats aren't really stellar. Only 3,074 passing yards in his 2 years at Virginia Tech, 20 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, had 1,200 rushing yards, and I don't see any stats for rushing touchdowns for some reason. But you must have been good because you went first overall in round 1 the next year. So I'm picking Michael Vick because change it up a little bit. Mike Vick, Bryce Young, and Tim Tebow feels like a really odd 3.
It is a bit of an odd 3 here. So you've got Tim Tebow, Bryce Young, and Michael Vick. A lot of guys who play the game different ways, right? Tebow was a lot more ground and pound. Bryce Young was finesse to still pass, and Michael Vick had a little bit of that kind of mixture, right? He could run, and he had the legs too, but still a very dynamic arm. Norris, you ran with Johnny Manziel and Vince Young. You had Vince Young. That's right. Who's your third?
Have to go with Deshaun Watson. His career at Clemson, he had over 800 completions. Then also, he has over 10,000 yards in passing. Then he set a record. He set a record for the total offense in a single game with 588 yards against Pittsburgh. That's something that needs to be talked about, actually. And it's a shame what his career is now. We ain't finna talk about that. We're not finna spend on that. But Deshaun Watson definitely makes my list.
I like the Deshaun Watson pick in college a lot. Watson was a very dynamic player, and I mean, we watched him for 2 years against Alabama. Again, at the time, we were fans of the game. Now that we're in media, we've kind of been able to separate our fandom from our viewpoints here, but Deshaun Watson was hell. I mean, hell for 2 years against Alabama.
I remember watching him when he was down in Houston after he had gotten drafted, and I think it was a playoff game between the Texans and the Bills. It was Josh Allen versus Deshaun Watson. And watching that game, I was like, this guy's going to be electric.
Superstar.
Yeah.
I thought he was a superstar coming out of that playoff game.
I remember.
They held the lead against the Chiefs the next week in the next round, in the divisional round.
They held the lead at halftime. The Chiefs came back in the second half of the game because it happened against the Texans, and then it also happened the week after against the Tennessee Titans. Same thing. Titans came out, held the lead in the first half. Chiefs came back, just went. I think that was 2019 because that was it was the Super Bowl right before COVID when it was the Niners and the Chiefs. I remember when I bought my Deshaun Watson Texans jersey.
That thing is worth $3 now.
I think it's sitting in a dumpster somewhere.
It as it should be for what Deshaun Watson has done here. So, but in terms of collegiate stats only, Deshaun Watson, one of the best in the game.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he's got to be one of the best to never win a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah. I mean, who won? Well, he was in college from what?
2014, he tore his ACL, didn't finish the year. 2015 was Derrick Henry. 2016 was Lamar Jackson. And then he was gone after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you were competing with top-tier talent at that point. I'm happy Lamar got one and got the recognition he deserved because that is just – Lamar was everything we wanted Deshaun Watson to turn into in the NFL.
I still watch – like whenever I'm just scrolling Instagram or TikTok, like old hype videos or old, players will just pop up, and still the Lamar Jackson hurdle against Syracuse – still just permeates my feed. It's all over the place still.
I know we're talking about quarterbacks. I can't wait until I have my first kid because the first thing they're going to watch is the Tavon Austin, West Virginia highlight tape. That's it. Nothing else. No Bluey, no Baby Shark, Tavon Austin highlights. That is it.
Kids are going to be on that film grind early in their life here. My third quarterback here, greatest single season in college football history, y'all are just going to leave him off your list? Joe Burrow and 2019 LSU? I mean, you got to have stones in the national championship to be walking around, and that's the picture Cruz used here for back then football. The ring me picture where he's pointing at that ring finger as he's beating Clemson in the national championship game. I'm taking the single season here. I understand he didn't quite have, the career stats that maybe you expect to have out of somebody on this list, but that's how dominant he was in his final season here. 76.3% completion percentage. It led FBS and Division I. 5,671 passing yards. 5,671 passing yards for Joe Burrow. 60 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. A 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. You walk into Bryant-Denny Stadium and you topple the beast that was that 2019 Alabama offense and Nick Saban. That was your Heisman moment right there. Was the run on fourth down in Bryant-Denny Stadium to effectively seal the deal on that football game against the Crimson Tide. Quarterback rating of 202 flat. I think that's either still the highest or at the time it was the highest quarterback rating or quarterback rate, passing efficiency rating. Maybe Mac Jones beat that the next year, but either way, it's still, if it's not number one, it's number 2 all time. 2019 for Joe Burrow. By the way, rushing stats as well for Joe Burrow that season, 368 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns there. The accolades for Joe Burrow, every single one of these is 2019. He won 10 awards in 2019. AP Player of the Year, unanimous All-American, Davey O'Brien Award winner, Heisman Memorial Trophy, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, the 2019 Manning Award, the Maxwell Award, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, the Vince Lombardi Award, the Walter Camp Player of the Year Award, first overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft to the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know that you can ask for a better 365 days than what Joe Burrow had in 2019 to 2020, that first overall pick in that draft.
Like we said earlier, I'd hate to be a quarterback playing at LSU and those are the shoes you have to fill, because I don't know if we'll ever see that replicated again in college football.
TJ Finley, the starting quarterback for LSU in 2020, was set up for failure, because if that's what you're following, you're cooked. You're toast. It's over at that point. And even still, like quarterbacks beyond that, like TJ Finley was the starter for LSU in 2020. After that, it was Jaden Daniels. After that, it was Garrett Nussmeier. And now you're looking at Sam Levitt. Like, that's your comparison. 5,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, undefeated national champion. That's what you're chasing at that point.
Yeah, that's got to be disheartening for some of these quarterbacks and recruits coming into LSU, and the fans are expecting you to replicate a season like that. Like the weight on the shoulders. And that's the same thing with Auburn when you have Cam Newton like that, having to go in there, and everybody is comparing you to that guy. Yeah, and you have to try to live up to it, and you feel like you can't succeed unless you live up to it. And if you don't, then do you feel like you failed the school that you went to? Do you transfer out to get away from having to live in the shadow of? That's also something I don't like Cam Newton, he's gone. Stop trying to create the next Cam Newton and create the next best Auburn quarterback, create the next best LSU quarterback. Don't get in these kids' heads and try to make them try to be something that you'll never see happen again in the history of college football.
We'll go ahead and take our final timeout here, and on the other side, we'll wrap up the loose ends and get you ready for the game with Ryan Fowler here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Coming up on the game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of the game, we'll do a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We'll talk to Matt Ascana and Bruce Marshall, all starting at 2 p.m. on the Friday edition of the game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is only $2.50. So you can get your gym gains on or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Restaurants while supporting the Tuscaloosa Public Library Bookmobile. Hosted by the Noon Show and 205 Restaurant and Bar. Presented by Harrison Construction, Town Square Media, and BF Goodrich. Tickets at Eventbrite.com.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we'll do a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We'll talk to Matt Ascana and Bruce Marshall, all starting at 2 p.m. on the Friday edition of The Game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Beautiful weather here through the weekend, and temperatures climbing through the 80s, flirting with 90 as we move into the work week next week. 83 here this afternoon, sunshine, 59 tonight. Sunny skies tomorrow, high tomorrow 85 and 87 on Sunday with sunshine. Monday, sunny skies, highs near 90, and the same holds true for Tuesday. Richard Weathering of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 79 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Find Tide on Twitter at Tide109 to keep up with show announcements, guests, and our reporters in the field.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it.
Welcome back into the Deep South College Football Show. Getting ready to wrap up the loose ends and get you ready for the game with Ryan Fowler. But before we do so, let's head out to the phone lines, 205-342-9904, all the way down in Louisiana. We're talking with Digger. Digger, how you doing?
No Colt McCoy.
He was not on
no Vince Young.
Vince Young was no. Norris took Vince Young. Colt McCoy was not on the list that we were provided to start the year. I thought you.
No, I did. I took.
No, you had
Manziel, Baker Mayfield, and I took Deshaun Watson.
Oh, that's right. You took Deshaun Watson. Okay, so Vince Young was on the list. Colt McCoy was not. That's why we did not include Colt.
Wow. Look at his stats. I'm telling you. If it wasn't for Kellen Moore, quarterback from Boise State, Colt McCoy would still have most games won. All 3 seasons when he started was over 3,000 yards. I don't get it. I understood why Tebow won, but, the reason why they said that Colt McCoy didn't win because he lost the game to Texas Tech at the time that was ranked in the top 10. But you didn't want to look at Tebow laying an egg in Florida against Ole Miss. Really? I get it. Tebow, he did have 57 touchdowns, but that's just pretty much running up the score against a lesser opponent. Come on. Vince Young, he wins the Natty, goes undefeated, and you're going to put Bryce Stewart in there? Bryce Young? Cam? Really? After taking a big, massive check? Mark Ingram? Come on.
No. Name me somebody else on that Auburn team outside of Cam.
Who? What difference does it make? It was one player.
It means Cam. It means Cam Newton was the best player on that team, was the only good player on that team, and led him to a national championship.
In the nation.
Led him to a national championship.
Yeah, so did Vince Young.
Okay, Vince Young in Texas had so many more stars than what Auburn and Cam did in 2010.
Doesn't matter, though. If you go undefeated and you lead a team to a natty and you unseat a 2-time natty like USC, oh, by the way, the trophy did go to who? Reggie. Who was what? Taking condos and money and cars. Yeah, he should never have gotten that Heisman. So, yeah.
What difference does that make to what he did? What difference does that make to what he did on the field?
Because you're not eligible then. plausible arguments here. I'm just saying.
In what way did that benefit his performance on the field?
Well, you can't get on the field if you're not eligible. That's where it affects your performance. If you can't get on the field, you don't get the stats. You don't score the touchdowns. You don't get the exposure. So, yeah. And look, Mark Ingram, 17 touchdowns. That's it? 17 touchdowns.
We're not even talking running backs. We're talking quarterbacks here.
Well, you brought up Mark Ingram. I'm like, Let's see. And y'all brought up Ingram yesterday. What? Where was Ricky? Where was Cedric Benson? Earl Campbell? You left out. I mean, you guys are going over players and you're leaving out icons. Icons. Why? Because it's Alabama. Oh, boy.
What are you talking about?
Just letting you know, plausible argument. Bring it to any court.
I didn't include an Alabama guy in my list. There was only one Bama guy to pick on this list.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Plausible argument. SEC got a free ride to the Heisman, Natty, and that's not going to change now. So I'm just saying, it's even Steven now. Whoever earns it now, between the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12 and the ACC, it's a level playing field.
Hey, how's Colt's collarbone these days?
Mano to a mano.
Hey, how's Colt doing these days? We got any updates on that? How's his collarbone today? Still a little sore, maybe?
I couldn't tell you.
Do we know where he is now?
He did something in the NFL. I don't think it was a whole lot. I don't remember watching him grow up. I remember watching Michael Vick and Cam Newton, though.
I remember Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, but Johnny Manziel could have studied the playbook a little bit more.
And Johnny Manziel was busy studying some other things out in Las Vegas the night before he's got to go play a game. I mean,
studying.
We didn't even bring up running backs. And where did Mark Ingram come from? Like, we did. Did I mention running backs? Did you mention running backs? Norris, did you mention running backs?
I think it might have came up when we were in the conversation about the Heisman winners for years.
Okay.
At some point.
But they awarded Mark Ingram that Heisman trophy. Did I ever say he was the rightful winner? You didn't. Norris didn't. We were just simply listing who won the Heisman trophy that year. I didn't have a vote in 2009. I still don't have a vote.
I pulled up. I have Vince Young's stats pulled up if we want to talk about them.
Read Vince Young's stats, and that way we can decide if one of us needs to bump him on our list.
Do you want to go the 3 years he was at Texas?
Give us his best season.
His best season was his junior year, the year they won the Natty. 3,036 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
You know who had more passing yards than Vince Young in the year that Vince Young won the national championship?
Educate me.
Ty Simpson. How many passing yards did you say Vince Young had?
3,036.
Ty Simpson had 3,567.
Didn't I just say that Bryce Young had 4,600 passing yards the year he won the Heisman?
Bryce Young had 45 to 4,600. I think it was 4,500 and some change. Burrow threw for 5,000. Tebow had 57 touchdowns.
I mean, I will agree with the fact that Vince Young was a fantastic quarterback.
Yeah, but the list is full of fantastic quarterbacks.
That's what makes it. That's why it's a good conversation. Because
I mean, between Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, and Bryce Young, you got 3 Heisman trophies right there. You add Tim Tebow to that, you've got 4 Heisman trophies and 4 national championships in that list alone.
Burrow's on there too.
Burrow was undefeated, Heisman, Natty. Baker Mayfield, Heisman. Jameis Winston, undefeated, Heisman, Natty. Deshaun Watson, multi-Heisman time. I mean, Deshaun Watson's probably the worst quarterback on this list.
Yeah. And
if Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback that you're picking from, the hell are we doing? What are we doing here? That'll do it for us today here on the Deep South College Football Show. Coming up next, the game with Ryan Fowler from 2 until 5:45, and then Alabama baseball tries to win the series against Ole Miss tonight, starting at 5:45 here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 AM WTBC.
If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
There are two types of business owners, those who are busy and those who want to be busy. Toast is designed for both, with tools to keep you humming and help turn grind into growth. That's how you turn busy into business. Toast, built for busy.